Oh, howdy folks. Don't mind me, just taking a pleasant British bubble bath. Today we're going to look at an animated movie set in the ocean. No, not Finding Nemo. No, not Shark Tale. There are other films set underwater, you know.
In this episode, we're going to look at a film from Malaysia.
So, let's take a gander at Sea Level.
Sea Level is a Malay computer-animated feature film that was produced with an original English voice track. What's it about? Well, when a bamboo shark called Pup discovers that he can breathe on land, he uses this ability to rescue some stolen eggs. While on his brave adventure, his friend Julius uses a mechanical contraption to brace land and retrieve Pup. While the computer-animated visuals are pretty to look at and very impressive, I have to admit that I found this movie to be a stale and forgettable snooze fest. Yes, the choice of a slow pace does give the film a sense of composure. I mean, it's not afraid to have dialogue-free moments in favour of visual storytelling. However, while I do admire Sea Level for making the risk of taking things slow, it's working with a bare-bones story that could be told under a shorter time. So, the problem is that it goes too slow and drags scenes on to a point where they become mundane. The story itself is too basic, small, and thin to support the justification for a slow pace. A movie needs a strong narrative with plenty of material in order to pull off a steady and gradual pace. So not only does Sea Level come across as an overlong short film, but it also doesn't have a lot to offer, and many aspects of the film fail in so many ways. The comedy fails because it's far from funny and lacks any wit. It's mainly just overplayed physical slapstick that made me groan in frustration. The action fails because the characters are underwritten or half-finished. The film often wants to create tension or peril, but how can I be on the edge of my seat if I don't care about these characters? A film can be unengaging if it puts its conflicts before its character development. First, there's the hero of the film, Pup. While he may be friendly, practical, caring, and full of determination, he lacks the spunk needed for a character to be appealing. Sure, his actions are impressive and he comes across as a sweet guy, but he's not funny, wacky, or cool, he's just cute and nice. Pup doesn't have a dark or cheeky side to give his character an edge. Then there's Julius the whitefin shark, who I believe is a prime example of how to screw up a potentially interesting character. He's first introduced as a goofy villain who frightens everyone in the ocean because of his carnivorous diet. After a traumatic experience on a fishing boat, Julius begins to feel sad and questions his friend's loyalty. After his friends confess that they're afraid of him, he decides to go on a diet. However, there's no conflict or challenge within his new diet. He just announces that he's going to be on a diet and then it's never brought up again for the rest of the film until the ending. Now, I used to be a vegetarian myself and can confirm that a diet is a very difficult thing to commit to. It takes self-control and sacrifice. Julius could have been a tragic anti-hero who struggles with his temptations as he works with his friends to rescue Pup, constantly battling to stick to his new diet. Instead, he's given an unfunny comic relief role. Julius seems like an unfinished character. It's like the writers lost interest in him once he stepped up on land. Then there's Myrtle the turtle, who's possibly the only likable character in the whole movie. She comes across as noble and experienced, yet bold and audacious. She may be a frail turtle, but she does kick some ass. It's pretty awesome. The only problem is that she's underused and doesn't have enough material to make her shine. She just exists to provide words of wisdom, but her advice and teachings aren't exactly mind-blowing. I mean, she's no Rafiki. So yeah, she's cool, but I couldn't get emotionally attached to her as a character. Then there's Octo. Yes, that is a very unoriginal name for an octopus, I know. Octo is your typical genius inventor character that appears in nearly every cartoon movie or series. He's just in the film to build fancy gadgets for the other characters. Now, sure, he does get the chance to fight just like Myrtle, but unlike Myrtle, he doesn't have enough personality. I mean, he's not very eccentric or wacky for a super intelligent octopus who can build advanced technology. There's quite a few villains in this film, like an eel and his crab minions, who have to be the most underdeveloped antagonist to ever be written for a movie. They're just an eel and a bunch of crabs. That's it. Sure, they look kind of creepy, but they have as much charisma as a wet paper towel. An effective villain will stain your memories. An underwritten villain will be forgotten the next day. The rest of the villains are pretty much most of the humans in this movie. I'm not even kidding. So many of the human characters in Sea Level are giant arseholes with no love or humanity inside them at all. It paints mankind as unsympathetic, money-grubbing monsters who take pleasure in animal cruelty. Now trust me, I get what this movie is trying to say. It's saying, hey, humans shouldn't exploit or hurt sea life, it's bad, it's wrong. But it's getting its message across the wrong way. It's too on the nose and pretty offensive considering that all of the audience members are humans. If you want to say that killing fish is wrong, then fine, but be considerate towards your audience. Don't point your finger at them, they didn't come to the cinema to feel guilty. Give them a human character to identify with, one who can influence them to take action. A film's message should inspire audiences, not guilt-trip them. Sea Level was animated by Silverant, a company that specialises in effects, animation, rigging and modelling for video games. As I mentioned at the beginning of this review, this film has some stunning visuals. It really has. I mean, the rendering is so clear and detailed. It's pretty impressive to observe. The animation itself is fluid, controlled, well-paced, and the expressions are easy to read. The film often pauses to let the animation get across moods, feelings, emotions, and characters' thoughts. I was blown away. If only this level of quality was directed towards the screenplay too. The voice acting is, well, how do I put this? It's okay, but the cast doesn't have enough punch or vocal personality. Sure, the actors deliver clear and expressive performances, but they don't exactly impress the ears. They're not bad, but they're also not great. They could have done a lot better, but they could also have done a lot worse. The music score is pretty damn good. Too good if you ask me. It has majestic and exciting orchestral compositions and soft, beautiful oriental pieces. It really excels above the film's mediocre script and can make me think that it would be better suited for a far superior movie.
To conclude, Sea Level does look really pretty. I mean, the animation is fantastic, it's really visually appealing. But the story and characters are the things that let it down. And the thing is, those are the bones of a cartoon movie. Without those things, it flops down and collapses. So I'm going to give it 2 shark-bitten stars out of 5. Now, if you don't mind me, I'm going to enjoy the rest of my lovely bath.